everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Iwuchukwu Inichi, and I'm the product sales specialist at Google Host. Google Host prides itself as the #1 web hosting service provider in Nigeria. And in today's webinar, we'll be discussing website security and learning about its secrets. But before we even go ahead, if you have any questions during the course of this webinar, please do not hesitate to leave them in the comment section, and the moderator will be right there to attend to them swiftly. And the reason why I might not be able to attend to these questions is because I want to give you all my undivided attention. Now, what is the goal of this webinar? Like I earlier explained, we'll be discussing website security, we'll be learning how to secure our websites, we'll learn about the right tool to use to secure our website, and any other thing that will be unfolded during the course of this webinar. Now, without further ado, let's get straight into the business of the day. What is website security? Website security refers to the protection of personal and organizational public-facing websites from cyber attacks. Sounds broad, doesn't it? For me to break it down for you, I would say that it is the steps, or they are the steps or the actions that you can take to ensure that your website is being protected from cyber attacks or cyber criminals. Now let's take time to go back memory lane where we were about to get an apartment. What was the first thing that came into your mind? Security, right? You ask yourself questions like, is this location safe for me? Is this area safe for me? And when you eventually took the apartment, you went the extra miles of ensuring that your house is protected by doing what? By getting good locks for your doors, by getting burglary proofs for your windows and for your doors. And why did you do all of this? This was to ensure that suspicious people do not gain access into your home. And that's exactly what website security is about. It's about protecting your website from suspicious or malicious persons. Now, before we talk about the effects of cyber attacks, we want to discuss, or rather define, a cyber attack. So what is a cyber attack? A cyber attack is an attempt to damage or destroy a computer network or system. So now that we've been able to clearly define a cyber attack, we can now discuss the effects of cyber attacks. Now, one of the effects of cyber attacks is website defacement. This is a situation where a cyber criminal hijacks your website and changes the interface of your website. Another example is effect of cyber attacks is the loss of website availability or denial of service condition. This is a situation where your users cannot be able to gain access to your website. And I'll give you a classic example of that. Sometime this month, BetNiger's website was hacked by a group of people who are known or famously known for hacking big companies around the world. They did this to get a ransom, and their conditions were not even met. What did they do? They ended up denying service to the users by ensuring that these customers don't gain access to BetNiger's website. What happened there was that if a user goes to BetNiger's website, there will be an error message returned to that user saying that they cannot gain access to that website because of some technical issues. That was what happened at that time. And it took the IT team of BetNiger a lot of time and effort to ensure that that website was gotten back. Now, this is a classic example of the loss of website availability or denial of service condition. And the next point would be the compromise of sensitive customer or organizational data. This is a situation where personal information of your business and that of your customers have been exposed to hackers or clever criminals. And I'll give another example. Facebook data breach. This happened this month last year, where 533 million personal information of users were exposed to hackers. And these information were ranging from email addresses, phone numbers, their full names, their Facebook IDs, their locations, and what they were posting on their walls as at that time. That was what happened to Facebook as at last year, April. So this is a classic example of a compromise of sensitive customer or organizational data. Now, these and many more are the effects of cyber attacks. Now, moving on to the next thing. So these cyber attacks, all these types of cyber attacks or these effects of cyber attacks can actually be avoided, can be completely avoided if we have the right tool or if we know the right tool to use. And that tool happens to be SiteLock. Now, SiteLock provides simple, fast and affordable website security to websites of all sizes. It automatically scans your website for malware and it protects your online reputation. I also want you to know that currently SiteLock is being used by 21 million users right now. So now, SiteLock caters to two parties when it comes to offering protection. One is your website and the second one happens to be your visitors or your customers. Now, for your website, SiteLock protects your website from denial of service attacks. It protects your website from malware and also from blacklisting, as well as many others. Now, when we talk about the denial of service attacks, remember the story I shared with you about Bet Nigeria's website, where the users were denied access to that website. Now, SiteLock offers protection to your website by ensuring that your users will always have access to your website, and it also ensures that your website does not get in contact with cyber criminals who will take out, who will then deny your users access to your website. Now, the second one happens to be malware. Malware is a short form of malicious software. It is a threat that is used to, take or steal customers' personal information or data. Now, remember the story I gave about Facebook, where I said that 533 million personal information of users were exposed to hackers. This is a classic example of a malware attack, right? So SiteLock offers your website protection from malware to ensure that the cyber criminals do not use that to gain access to your website and get or steal personal information of your customers. And the last one would be blacklisting. Blacklisting is a situation where your website is being flagged as malicious or suspicious by a search engine. Now, a search engine can be Google, it can be Bing, and many others. So SiteLock ensures that your website is protected so that it is not blacklisted or flagged as suspicious or malicious to your users when they want to visit your website. Now, when it comes to your customers, remember that I said that SiteLock offers protections to two parties. One is your website and the second one is your customers. So we've talked about where SiteLock offers your website protection. Now let's talk about the part where it offers your visitors or your customers protection. So SiteLock protects your visitors from stolen data, phishing schemes, and malicious redirects. Stolen data. Remember the story I shared with you about Facebook data breach, where personal information of millions of people were exposed to hackers. So SiteLock is a tool that is used to protect your customers' information from being accessed by cyber attacks or cyber criminals. Now, when we talk about phishing schemes, it doesn't just happen to your emails. Phishing scheme, I would like to put it as a situation where someone or a group of people are posing to be you as the owner of the website to gain access to more personal information of your users. Now, they might gain access to your website and begin to send emails, call your customers, or even send them SMSs. By luring them to take actions or to expose or give off more information about themselves, so that they can use it for malicious intent. That is what phishing scheme is about, and SiteLock protects your customers from that. That means that your customers will not be in contact with any cyber attack or cyber criminal, and their personal information will not be exposed to them as well. Now, when we talk about malicious redirects, let's talk about redirects. For example, you go to your website and you're being redirected on that page. Now, that can happen for the good part and for the bad part, but for today we're going to be focusing on the bad part. So this is a situation where a cyber criminal will lure your customers from your own website to a malicious page or a malicious website. It's that simple. They drive traffic from your own website to that malicious website. So you can see that, oh, your customers are coming in, but then at some point they're dropping off. That's because they're being redirected to another website that may be used for malicious intent. So now you may be asking yourself this question: why do I need SiteLock? Why should I get SiteLock for myself or for my website? And I will give you two reasons. One is that it is cheaper than a cyber attack. I want you to imagine a situation where you will have to recover data or lost files from your website that has been hacked by a cyber criminal. Imagine how much it will cost you to do that. Then compare it to how much it will cost you to just buy protection for your website, and that's exactly what SiteLock is for. So when you think about it, you will definitely see that SiteLock is way more cheaper, to get and use than spending money trying to recover your website once it has been breached by a cyber attack or cyber criminals. And the second one is that it protects your reputation and it retains your customers or your visitors. So a study has shown that 65% of people who have had their personal information compromised one time or the other on a particular site do not come back on that particular site. That's a huge number to lose when it comes to your customers. So imagine that happening to you. That's a huge loss of customers. That's a huge loss of money. So what SiteLock, or why you would need SiteLock, is that it protects your reputation, so that people don't always say bad things or give negative reviews about your business. And it also retains your customers or your visitors, ensuring that they don't drop off at any point in time. SiteLock has the technology to perform so many scans, but I will just focus on two, which are file-based malware scanning and removal and vulnerability scanning. So what SiteLock does is that it scans your website daily, and if it detects a malware, it alerts the owner of that website, which happens to be you, and then instead of just stopping at that, it also removes the malware from your website. Now the second one happens to be vulnerability scanning. Now I want us to go back to the Facebook story where we said that millions of personal information of users were exposed to hackers. Now when the Facebook team discovered that data breach, they discovered it in 2021, but they found out that breach was already there since 2019. It was just made obvious in 2021. But then they wanted to know the root cause of that issue, and then they discovered that it was a misconfiguration setting. So that was the loophole that these hackers were able to get into to gain access or scrape the server and gain access to user information. So vulnerability scanning in this sense is a situation where SiteLock will look through your website to see if there are weak points, weak areas that can serve as loopholes for cyber attacks or cyber criminals to get into. So once it finds that, or once it scans and finds that, it helps to patch it as well, thereby securing your website from cyber attacks or cyber criminals. Also, with the SiteLock Trust Seal that has been proven to build customer confidence and increase sales and conversion rates when you get it, it ends up saving you all the work you have put in on your website. It saves you time and money in building your website. It prevents loss of revenue from your website. So imagine if your website has been hacked and customers leave your website, that equates to losing money. So SiteLock Trust Seal, which is part of SiteLock, make sure that you do not experience any loss of revenue from your website. And then finally, it maintains the good impression that your website is about. Okay, so I would like us to go through some reviews of people that have used or are using SiteLock right now. And one says that my website is very important to me, so I go the extra length to protect it. Classic example, like if your website is very important to you, if you make money from your website, if that is the source of your big sales and big revenue, I think it's very important that you should get yourself a SiteLock plan that will protect your website from any cyber attack or cyber criminals. The second one says, as a developer, I ensure that my clients' websites are protected because I know how important it is for them to have their website up and running. So what does this even mean? It just means that no matter the type of business you run, no matter the size of your business or the size of your website, no matter how much volume of transactions you make on your website, no matter if you're the one that is running your website by yourself or there's someone helping you to do it or to build it, cyber attacks can happen to you at any time. And that is why cyber security or website security should be taken into utmost consideration, right? So we are at the part where we have to go through the various SiteLock plans that we have or that are available. Now, as you can see, they come with different prices and they also come with different benefits. So we have the Find SiteLock plan, we have the Fix SiteLock plan, and we have the Defend SiteLock plan, and they are being paid for per year. So whichever one best suits your business and whichever one you consider affordable, please take them into consideration and get one as soon as you can. So now we are at the discount part of this webinar. I want to use this medium to inform you that there will be a 10% discount coupon that will be sent at the comment section for the first 20 people. So it's going to be used for any plan of your choice. And I would urge you to take this opportunity or grab this opportunity while you can. Remember, for the first 20 people that will use that coupon, they get a 10% off any of their choices of the SiteLock plans. So what did we learn from this webinar? We learned that one, cyber attacks leave your website vulnerable. Yes, as long as your website is not secured, it is there for cyber attacks or cyber criminals to get into and gain access. Then the next one is that SiteLock helps to safeguard your website from malicious attempts, and it will save you money, maintain your business reputation, and retain your customers. Right? So when you have SiteLock with you, when you have SiteLock on your website, it will save you the stress of thinking about if your website is going to be hacked or not. Like it has taken off that burden completely from you. So like I said before, ensure that you get yourself a SiteLock plan for your website. Please, it's very important. Now that brings us to the end of this webinar. I hope you learned something vital from this webinar, because I know I did. Do not forget to grab the opportunity to use the discount coupon that will be put in the comment section for the first 20 people. Remember, for the first 20 people, it's going to be displayed in the comment section. Please grab that opportunity while you can. And also do not forget to put down any questions or comments that you may have in the comment section, and a moderator will be right there to attend to them swiftly. With that being said, I want to say a very big thank you for staying with me to this time. I really do appreciate it, and I also hope to see you next time. But for now, see you and bye.